I just get in my car and I drive away. And then John just sits there. Without the skill of evocative responding, John's just going to sit there. So you turn to John and you say, John, what's it like for your wife to talk about? Getting up and leaving the room, right? Getting in your car and driving away. What happens inside of you when she does that? Right? He goes, oh, I get angry. You just got him talking now, right? He says, I get angry. Oh, I see. You get angry. You get angry. Now we're going to go back up here, right? You get angry. There's something about her getting in her car and leaving and leaving the space and getting in her car and taking off. There's something about that leaves you very angry, right? Something about her leaving is sort of angry and scary. See, I'm transitioning, right? And I'm going to soften and scary. And then I can do an evocative response. Tell me more about the fear. And mix them up a little bit, right? Tell me a little bit more about that fear that's coming up for you. Or tell me a little more about what's coming up for you when you consider being feared. Okay, making sense? So expand awareness of the present experience. So he's sitting there not paying attention or sitting there not talking. I'm going to expand his awareness. He's not even thought about what is it like. Maybe he has not sharing it, but I'm going to expand it into the room, right? Or I'll get it really tricky, like today. I said to my client, John, I said, what is it like for you, John, for your wife to talk about wanting to reach out to you, wanting to sit close to you, but feeling very uncomfortable? Right? Do you think they ever ask each other stuff like that? No. So I'm going to expand the awareness, and so John says, well, because I understand why she feel that way, I feel that way too. And he says, but I'm also pretty sad that this is where we're at. So, Joanne, as John talks about his sadness, what comes up inside of you? Another evocative response. Right? I feel sad too. Can you turn to each other and talk to each other about your sadness? Next skill. Okay? All right. You guys got these? Evoke, call, make aware. All right. Empathic conjectures. These are where we do our interpretations. So counselor interprets the client's current state and experience to help give color, shape, and form. If you guys are in my helping skills class, how many of you guys are in my helping skills class? Okay. If you were in my class, one of the things I said all the time was vivid. Be vivid in your reflections. Right? This is where EFT has influenced me. Right? And the more vivid the reflection, the richer the narrative, and the more likely it is transitioned from the right to the left. Right? So that's why we go vivid. We want the whole package. If we leave anything behind, it's going to come back around to get it. Okay, we don't leave anything behind. We want to take the whole package with us across the corpus callosum. Right? If we leave anything behind, there's unfinished business, and it's going to have to go back and do it again. Okay, so empathic conjectures are the goal is to facilitate more intense experiences for which new meanings spontaneously arise. More intense experiences, authentic experiences, but more intense than what's being experienced in the session. And why is it not being experienced intensely? Because of fear, because of defenses. So fear and defenses move authentic experiences down to inauthentic experiences, right, that aren't as hot.
Did we miss a slide?
Did
I
you?
have heightening and reframing. That's
Yeah.
it.
Oh, well, let me do heightening and reframing. I can go in the other direction. I'll do this, and I'll go backwards.
Okay.
Good, sorry, I skipped one. Okay, so empathic conjectures then are these interpretations. So I'm not sure I quite understand. Is it like if she doesn't desire me every day, I've lost her? It's like Sue in that tape earlier. Prue said, "I don't like it," and she goes, "You don't like it?" Like there's something bigger here. So she actually used a different skill heightening. But it all is to be able to make it a little more vivid, right? You want the experience to have color, shape, and form. So you're going to make it bigger. So you can never let her know how the content criticism, as you put it, defeats you and push you to withdraw. You can never ask her directly to risk and give you a chance to learn to be close. So my interpretation is an interpretation of the unmet attachment needs and the longings. So this is where I'm going to interpret something deeper than the clients are willing to say, so that but it resonates with them because it's congruent with empathic interpretations using my own empathy to generate an interpretation that's accurate to the client's experience, the couple's experience. Okay, let me go back and then we'll come back to restructuring because this is one of the last ones. All right, heightening, another one of my personal favorites, love heightening. Using repetition, images, metaphors, or enactments to intensify particular responses and interactions. So these are often interactions that play a crucial role in negative interactions or new positive ones. Okay, so we have the old cycle. It's operating, right, back and forth. And so I'm going to use heightening to disrupt it. So I'm going to ask them to repeat things, right? So the wife may mutter under her breath, I really want to be close to him, but it will never work out. And I'll say, can you say that again? Can you say, what is it? You said, I really want to be close to him? Can you say that again? But this time a little bit louder. I really want to be close to him. Right, so something that's pausing, rewinding, is a heightening. Can you look at her and say that again? That's really common, right? Pause, rewind. Catch the one thing that they said or the thing that they're experiencing that disrupts the pattern. You heighten it, right? So I hear you talking about being very angry at him and really wanting to hurt him. But I also see tears in your eyes. So I'm heightening the tears. Right? It's also a challenge, but I'm heightening the tears. I'll say, let's stay with those tears for a minute. And can you tell John, which is what out of connection, can you tell John, now this is a evocative response, can you tell John more about those tears? So I heighten, and then I evoke. So you're combining a lot of these skills together, interventions together. Oftentimes they're combined together. Okay, reframing encourages connect strategies to attachment needs. So this is really important for the partner to change their position is if you offer the reframe. So the reframe is based upon all unhealthy behaviors driven by healthy need. That's the reframe. Right? So that's what you're reframing. What is that you don't like is being driven by something healthy. Okay, so here's what it looks like. You freeze because you feel like you're right on the edge of losing her, and you freeze because she matters so much to you, rather than freezing because she doesn't matter to you, right? So the interpretation is he freezes because he doesn't care, right? But I want to reinterpret it. The healthy need is I freeze because I feel like I'm on the edge of losing her. That's why I freeze. So I'm going to find the healthy need under the unhealthy behavior, and I'm going to reframe it for them, right? So as soon as I identify the negative behavior, I'm going to reframe the negative behavior. So you attack her. You attack her not because you want to hurt her, but you attack her because, what do you think? Reframe it? Can you reframe it to something? Because you're so scared inside. You're so scared inside that if you don't let her know how much this hurts, right, that she'll never change. Or something like that. She'll never change. Or, you pick it. You have to hear the story. It's kind of hard to do without a context, but you can pick the reframe. So, you withdraw. Why do you withdraw? You withdraw not because you want to punish her, but because you feel so inadequate. Because in that moment, you feel so scared and inadequate. You don't know what to do. She's coming after you, and she needs something from you, and you don't know what to give to her. And so in your inadequacy, you pull away. Like, how great is that to hear from the partner? Right? It's the big reframe that you're actually good. You're actually good. And then it allows them more space to reinterpret the negative behavior and then to soften towards the other person. You see how so much of this is about softening? Because you can't get out of de-escalation until things are softened, and that's the first stage of EFT, is de-escalation. Okay? So you have to de-escalate a couple before you can get them into the second stage, is consolidation. So everything has to get de-escalated. Reframes are a big part of de-escalation. Right? Evocative responding is a big part of de-escalation. Heightening is a big part of de-escalation. Picking out those things that are apart from the pattern to focus on, to disrupt the pattern. So we're disrupting the pattern to de-escalate the pattern and reconstruct the pattern. And these skills are to disrupt the pattern. Because if we just sit back, like when we did our first night, the pattern just kept going. Right? We want to interrupt the pattern. And so we interrupt the pattern with skills. Yes?
I'm just curious, how do you reframe by validating why they're doing it without validating what they're doing?
You're validating the motive behind the behavior.
Okay.
You're not validating the behavior, you're validating the motive behind the behavior. Yeah, it's a pure motive, it's a healthy motive, but the behavior is not healthy. Yeah. And then if you really want to do it well, you do the whole cycle. So you withdraw, so when she attacks you, you withdraw, not to punish her, but you withdraw because you're completely overwhelmed, you don't know what to do, you feel inadequate and scared, right? You feel scared and inadequate. And so you see yourself as not worthy of being in this relationship. And so then you withdraw, and then when you withdraw, then you go around the other side. Then when he withdraws, then you see him as not caring about you. And so when you see him as not caring about you, you want to protest him not caring about you. And that's what the attack is about, right? So when you attack, it's not because you want to hurt him, it's because you want to shake your fist and say, I need you not to hurt me, right? I need you not to withdraw, because when you withdraw, I feel so alone. I need you to come close to me. So then it goes around and around. Yeah, Valerie, please.
I was just gonna say, early on, like in the very beginning, when you're trying to kind of figure out what their cycle is, I might even say that you're not validating as much as you're reflecting what their experience is.
Right.
Like what she was talking about is she's just trying to get a handle on what each of them are saying happens,
Right.
which is more of a reflection of I'm trying to understand what's going on,
Right.
more than a validating, like I'm agreeing with what you're experiencing.
Right.
Is that more? Like, I think that's kind of.
Well,
and
I
then
think-
later on, in what we're going to talk about later, is
Yeah.
like a validating what your actual experience is to
Right.
sort of create the reframe that
Right.
helps them each understand
Right.
what the other is actually experiencing, what's
Right.
really going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to be using like different sets of these skills at different stages, or
Right.
steps of the stages. So
It'll
there's
make
like
more sense in a
4
second.
steps in one stage, and some skills are used at certain steps, and other skills. It's kind of like the relationship building skills and the working stage skills.
Yeah.
Some of the skills work better
Later
at
on.
different points of the steps within the stage.
Right.
So like, you're not going to start off with a reframe.
No.
Right. You're screaming, and you're going, I think you're screaming because
Yeah.
that's not gonna land very well, because they're not far enough in understanding their understanding of their own cycle before you give them the reframe. Okay, so some of these things you hold off on. Yeah.
I have a question. What if you like lay this all out nice and neat for them, and they're like, oh, yeah, we gotta do that, and then they come back next week and they're like, nah, I thought about it and I don't do that.
If they say they don't
Yeah.
do whatever they
Like if
identify.
for instance, I have this couple that I've worked with co-therapy for several weeks, and we just laid out like, this is the dance. I kind of like gave them some little handles to hold on to.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they both were like, we primed them to get there, of course, we didn't just drop it on them. We were meeting with them twice a week, so it was kind of more intensive. But then when they came back, it was like, they were really on board with it the day we were talking about it and like identifying it for themselves. And then one who tends to kind of disassociate from parts of himself, and especially old parts of himself, was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore.
Okay. So you could say to them, so something happened, right? Between the time that you left, the time you came back, something happened that shifted the way you think about this. Tell me more about that. What happened in your experience that changed the way you view this? And then you trust that whatever they describe is going to lead back to the original conceptualization, or maybe a little different conceptualization. You know, maybe they have something to share with you that you haven't heard. So tell me about the events, what happened, right? Describe for me the fights. Describe for me, you know, what is the experience that changed your mind about this? I think that's a good way to go.
Yeah, he kind of shared a little bit of that, but it seemed like something that he maybe just made up to like squeeze out from under.
And I would say that.
Like,
I would say-
I've not heard about this before.
Yeah, I would say that I mean, you know, if you really feel like someone's trying to sabotage with, I would then just do an interpretation. You know, it seems like it's really scary for you right now to see yourself as somebody that's vulnerable rather than talking about the stuff matter.
Yeah, because he kind of bails from that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not afraid of it. there's no sense in thinking about it. Like, just like placate, move on. Like,
Right.
very
So
not
I would say
aware.
somewhere along the line you learned that it's better not to think about it
Yeah.
than to feel it. And that's where I'd go backwards.